So I'm Teresa Howarth, and I work with Justin in terms of sort of aligning the delivery of Safe Suffolk Renters. And we are really happy with the way that we've sort of pulled together something from scratch that is a different way of both engaging with you and tenants and trying to ensure that we deliver Safe Suffolk Renters and concentrate on the worst properties. So I just wanted to just tell you some of the other things that are going on that pick up on some of the other speakers this morning. So support for tenants, just a few other things on there that will be sent out to you later. So there is something called the Housing Support Fund. So this is additional money that tenants can apply for where they're really struggling with things like paying heating bills. So they might be paying their rent, but you might be concerned that they're not able to afford to heat the property properly. So that link will take you through to some further guidance about how you can help them to access that funding. Heat your home to prevent damp and mould. Safe Suffolk Renters have done a couple of videos that are there on that link there. One of them is about heating your home effectively that you might want to share with your tenants. And there's some other explanations about how damp and mould forms in a property and why it's important to both heat and ventilate in a balanced way to deliver improvement. And also some information there about insulating the fabric of the building. So it's interesting, when we've done some of the first inspections that we did for Safe Suffolk Renters, we found a lot of properties that actually had no loft insulation in them. And that's quite surprising in this day and age because there have been funded schemes for loft insulation for a long time. So sometimes it's because the EPC says assumed insulation because there's no loft insulation, but it's something that's just worth checking. Have a look at your EPC. Are there any quick wins? Because there's still good grant funding out there and more to come that would help you with that. Again, damp, mould and condensation advice. There's a number of different websites that deliver that for you. If you are concerned about a property that is causing a damp problem, then again we can provide advice, and your local council environmental health officers can do so as well. Please don't think that we're here, if you call us in to advise you on something, that we're necessarily going to slap you with an enforcement notice. We like to have the conversations and deliver improvements in partnership. We're not all about enforcement. So one of the bits of the project that I've been particularly involved in is around the health side of things. So Safe Suffolk Renters, as Andrew Crow talked about, has helped to deliver, bringing forward some of the recommendations from that health and housing needs assessment. And we're working really hard with health partners and others in the sector to actually ensure that what we really want to do is look at the most vulnerable residents living in the worst property first. So we need to build partnerships with health so that we can impact not just people who may be living in housing that is not of a good quality, but particularly those that are having a health impact as a result of that, so that we can have some impact on the pressures on our health system as well. So whether I was on the radio on the way in this morning, they were talking about the huge pressures on GPs and how many patients they're now all expected to work with. And if we can actually work to improve housing conditions, then people's, the illnesses that people are suffering from, particularly respiratory, we could actually have an impact on, winter pressures because we've actually helped to provide an improved home for people. And that's one of the areas that we're doing quite a lot of work, and Safe Suffolk Renters has helped to support that. We've also got the University of Suffolk that we are working with very closely, and my two colleagues, Alison Pooley and Robert Reid, are going to stand up now and just wave at you. So we're looking to do some research to better understand the lived experience of tenants and landlords within the private rented sector, so focusing on different needs. We want to explore what works for all of our private rented stakeholders and looking at what the impact there is of improving the quality of somebody's homes on that health and well-being. So everybody knows that if you live in a good home, you've got family support, you've got reasonable income, that you will have better life chances. But the actual data that actually it supports that is slightly lacking. There haven't been many studies that actually look at what that looks like in terms of people's experiences. And one of the things that we live in is a world that's very much driven by data. So the more that we can get that research sort of to quantify the benefits of improvements, we'll be better placed in future to deliver some hopefully some good funding bids that will enable projects such as this to continue. So Alison and Robert are very keen to speak to anybody who would like to take part in that research, which will be involve sort of an interview with you on a fairly informal basis. And if anybody would be prepared to discuss their role as a landlord, they would be very pleased to hear from you. And the findings will be used to inform. And obviously we're also speaking to a number of tenants. And that's me. You can have lunch early.